Say, alright, so first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. We say double and say apostle and elders agree Muslim rule our teachers, our apostle in the truth, and with this salutation, so the Akim must push you with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out and constantly, in season or the season is Shalom. Once again, going into a video here, and this basically touching upon there's no peace with this wicked man, or there's no peace with Esau, right? Now this comes of Trump talking about the being organizing something called the Board of Peace. Right now, what I want to do before I read this one, I actually want to go down a little bit. Right. Right. So I want to read this one here. It says Trump sent letter to Norway's prime minister saying he no longer has an obligation to think purely of peace. Right. But wasn't this the same guy that talking about he's the president of peace? There will be no new wars. There will be no new invasions. He even said that there would be no World War III, and which we know all these things is lies, right? Are lies, right? And so going in here, I also want to go down. Right. So that's the formation actually. Where is the? All right, I'm gonna get rid of this one because I already did a video on that. Where is it? I was looking for another thing he said. All right, but it looked like I didn't save it, or maybe it was removed, right? But as you can see, as he said here, Trump sent letter to Norway's prime minister saying he no longer has an obligation to think purely of peace and will prioritize American interests because he was not awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, right? So you could see there's no peace to come from these guys, right? Now the scriptures talk about they being the border of wickedness, and what could they expect from a wicked man? Now, I was going to start with the Psalms 55, but as I mentioned that, let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 10. It says, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So, so you say what? It said the wicked shall do wickedly. So what they feel going to happen, or what they feel a wicked man is going to do? He's going to do wickedness. He's going to do wickedly, right? That way it say and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, right? There's no good to come from the wicked. You can't expect an apple to bring forth oranges. It wouldn't make sense. Can a leopard change its spots? No, right? Matter of fact, let's see if I get that. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 13 verse 23. It says, can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil, right? And it can't. An Ethiopian can't change his skin, nor could a leopard change his spots. So what good could come from them that are accustomed doing evil? And that's why the scriptures say to never trust your enemy, right? So when you hear all these peace talks, there is no peace to come from these guys. The scriptures mention the earth is given in the hands of the wicked, right? So when you hear these things, you have to understand that what it is the wicked going to do, but other than wickedness. That is why you see all these things. There's so much of, like, for example, where you see the little blue highlighted thing in the corner is bookmarks. So these are things that are saved that I said I would do videos on. Now watch how much is being saved, right? And plenty is just going into Esau being what? Liars, showing the man of sin is not being revealed, right? We see, like for example, Bill Gates has given a 5-year deadline before we enter into a new age. Now, if anybody that knows, in the year 2018, Bill Gates mentioned that there would have been some sort of pandemic to happen in 2020, and watch what happened, right? Now we know the scriptures mentioned, they say the days are getting more evil, right? They say the scriptures mentioned the evil shall increase, right? So things are getting worse, but we also seen the devil, coming down with great wrath because he have but a short time. So they knowing they have a short time, how you feel they're gonna move? They're gonna move with urgency, right? They're gonna move with all they didn't care. There were news that came out that today, right? I think I didn't save it, right? No, I didn't save that particular news. But let me see if I could get it here, right? This to go to show that there's no peace to come from from Esau, right? Right? They say officers to assert power to forcibly enter people's homes without a judge's warrant. Like ICE officers. So you see what we're heading into, and who's giving them that? Trump, right? They say Trump briefly spoke to reporters in Davos after announcing that a framework for a deal on Greenland has been formed, and he's already mentioned that he's not taken out the idea of attacking Greenland, right? But I thought he's the president of peace, right? Tariffs, he's fighting Europe now, which is his allies, those that are confederate with him, right? And all this goes into what? Prophecy. So with all these things, we see the prophecies play out before our eyes, right? But I want to go down. Let me see if they have it here. Right, so this is going into Palantir, which we know, hey, there's so much news coming out of Palantir right now. There's something you should be focused on or be taken in. It's because they're talking about credit scores to putting people on tracking and so forth, which we know, hey, the MOTB, right? That MOTB, the mark of the beast, right? That chip, they're gonna come soon, put that chip inside of you, right? I'm gonna go down here. This was what, 7 hours ago? I believe most likely I would find it just now. But it's something Trump said earlier today, right? Something he said earlier today. I'm not seeing it here. So I don't think this news page put that up. Let me check Spectator Index. Right, they're giving the updates about the goal. Right, no, this is something right. Disclose. On which page I could get it from, but I'm trying to see if any of these yeah, I believe I might find it here. Yes, the Pentagon orders active duty military police in North Carolina to prepare for possible deployment to Minneapolis. Right? Does that sound like peace to you? Does that sound like peace? And that's something, Jake's getting caught up with what is happening. To realize Jacob Trouble is here. Right? And there's a lot more to come. The script has mentioned this is the beginning of sorrows. So things is going to get worse, right? But I'll say let's bringing out this news here. Talk about deploying the military, right? And we're seeing all these things. We now read that they could we now read from this page, right? That he is giving the ICE agents permission so that they could enter into your house without a warrant, right? So there's a lot of things. Now coming back to this article here, it's the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu accepts invitation to join U.S. President Trump's Board of Peace. A man that was just, if I say it, I believe the video might get taken down. But you saw the kind of atrocities that guy just did in the Middle East, right? What kind of stuff he was doing? Let me go to the book of Psalms, right? Psalms 55, right? Let me go to verse. Let me start from verse. I'm gonna start from verse 20. It says he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. And that is the man he's dealing with. You see, would say he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant, and that is Esau, right? A wicked and untrustworthy person, right? An untrustworthy nation, right? So when they mention peace here, they're going to your mind is war in their hearts, right? War is in their hearts. It said the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. What is in his heart? War. So yeah, as it say here, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, right? So the way how he speak, it captivates people, especially the simple. The simple the jakes, they get captivated by these speeches that these guys do, right? Say certain things, and it entices them. So they start to believe that this man really for peace, but he's not, right? He's not. Esau's track record is not a good track record at all. So that way it said the words of his mouth was smoother than butter. Yeah, it's smoother than butter, right? When you listen to it, it's nice. It's sweet. He talk about in his big in the beginning of his tenure, right? He mentioned that there would be no new wars, no new wars. We would stop inflation. There would be no World War III, right? He's speaking like he and that's Esau, the pride, the speaking like if there is God, right? Talking about hey, World War III is going to happen nonetheless, right? But again, going back to what it is he's saying, there will be no new wars, no new wars, no World War III, there will be no poor. That is the kind of words that's used. It's sweet, it's smoother than butter. Right? They say, but war was in his heart. That is the thing. And the outward, the sayings, the way they look, they might seem like it's peace, but it's not. War is truly inside. Watch these guys. Let's watch them. Watch them. You could see it among continents, right? This person says, and as sick as it is, this is likely the cost of compliance with the new Middle East religion stability vision. Right now, to add to this, is the Prime Minister here, he's not the only one that actually said that he would join the Vatican, right? He called for the Pope to join, right? He and some other Muslim countries, they actually joining it as well, forming their own stuff, right? Again, this watch the people that's joining and understand if there is really peace. But we know it goes into what the NWO, right? Because there's a lot of other stuff coming out. It might seem just like the Board of Peace, but there's so much information coming out. This kind of stuff that they want to do with this particular thing, right? They say, as sick as it is, this is likely the cost of the compliance with the new Middle East regional stability vision. This board peace marks the end of the U.S. forever war military-industrial complex model, which is a lie, right? A lie. So that again, that goes to show that people would believe this. It's Netanyahu will have to comply with the financial and industrial complex to remain in power, or he will regime change. Which is, hey, you see the kind of power this man have over Trump right now. They say the peace board is the FIC proxy. I hate the way the world actually works. Wait, is this a board of peace or a board of peace? And this person right. This person right. As it say here, wait, is this the board of peace or a board of peace? Meaning the board of peace, the war action. And that is where it is. Right? And we know read certain things from Saint, so it goes to show that hey, it's not really peace. So it say, but war was in his heart. War. That is what in the heart. Watch again. If you've been paying attention to the news, watching the news, the guy on the left, right? You might even be able to mention his name. I saw a video, right? I saw a video where someone actually talked about him, and American agents, and end up coming in. Now there's something happening, because I believe I will do a video on that, because I have that saved somewhere here where you're talking about Palantir actually tracking, the things they say online, and actually holding you accountable for the things that is being said. Now this happened to one or two people recently, right? But there's people know the kind of atrocities that guy did, right? So you say his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, right? And that is again, that is Esau, Edom, right? Don't trust that guy. When they say peace, they actually mean war, right? That is where it is. Um, um, let me go to the book of Psalms, same Psalms, chapter 28, Psalms 28, Psalms 28, verse 3. It says, draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts. And that is what it is. Mischief is in their hearts, right? They speak peace, but it's really mischief they own. Wickedness, evil, right? The agendas that they're trying to fulfill right now. This all you have to do, man. Let me see if I could just refresh this here, right? This news popping up, right? Right, all these news popping up. There's some other stuff. It's your timeline. So a lot of things would happen, right? Let's read this here. Breaking initial details on the Trump Greenland deal have emerged. Evolved small pockets of land for the U.S. involved in Greenland mineral rights. I thought he mentioned that this was to protect the land from Russia and China, right? Duration of the deal has an indefinite time frame designed to block Russian influence in Greenland. U.S. Golden Dome system will be involved. Opens door to U.S.-backed infrastructure and investment. And that is the thing. It's for the minerals, right? Trump is looking to secure land, minerals, and defense in one deal, right? So you see, right? And it already mentioned that I believe it's Denmark and Norway and all these other places saying that 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 it wouldn't give him, right? It says Bill Gates has given a five. So going back to the script there. Let me go now to Psalms, right? Psalm chapter 5, and let me read verse 9. It says, for there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. So yes, so that way it say, for there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Now we know read, he said what? The board of peace. But then we just read here, Trump sent a letter to Norway's prime minister saying he no longer has an obligation to think purely of peace. So he's telling them, hey, yo, I'm not thinking about peace no more. Right? And that is a good example of what? That the words were soft as butter, but war was in their mind. Right? It's really mischiefs they're up to. This wicked man. They say the wicked shall do what? Wickedly. Right? They say, for there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy thou them, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. Right? Now, as I say, there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Now, let's go to the book of same Psalms, chapter Psalm chapter 10, verse 7, it says, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Right? Under his tongue is what? Mischief and vanity. Because that is the wicked person you're dealing with. Again, the scriptures call them what? The border of wickedness. Let's go to that. This is let's go to that. Right? Let's read from verse 1. It says Malachi chapter 1 verse 1. It says the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. To who? To Israel. Right? It says, I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places, thus said the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. The border of wickedness. Right? So they being called the border of wickedness. What they expect to, what good you expect to come from them? What good you expect to come from Esau? Right? There's no good to come from that man. Right? It said the border of wickedness and the people against whom the Lord had an indignation forever. But I told Christians, see, the Lord love everybody. But the scripture is mentioning here, the Lord had an indignation against a particular people forever. Right? And a people who Esau, Edom, today call them what? The so-called white man. Right? And again, here the other heathens as well. You know? But going back to the scripture, you see what? The border of wickedness. So going back to the Psalms chapter 10, right? Psalms chapter 10, and I'm going to go to verse 8. It says, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages and the secret places, though he murdered the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor, right? And he died them. Again, go and look at the track record of Esau, Edom, and what he things to do. There are so much of files, so much of documents, so much of leaks coming out about the atrocities, about the evil, the wickedness that Esau did all around the world, right? Go and look it up, right? So much information outside there right now, and so much of things you're doing right now in the eyesight, you know. So this I believe this is it here, right? This is it here. Salat. I should have actually read this one first in the beginning and say breaking news. PBS reports the United States National Security Council has forwarded this message to the European ambassadors in Washington, D.C. Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus what 8 wars. They say I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. So you see what? Because it was never about that. Right? They say, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect the land of Russia or China, and why do they have a right of ownership? Anyway, there are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago. But we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person, and I've gained pride, right? This cruel lord, this cruel king. It says, since it founded and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. Right? The world wouldn't be secure and safe until Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai come back. Right? That is the time that this world would be safe. Right? Or feel safe. Right? Right? So it's a he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages and the secret places, though he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may be fooled by his strong ones. He had said in his heart, God had forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Right? They say, arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore, though the wicked contemn God, he had said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Right? And again, the fall of Esau is coming soon. Right? But again, there is never no peace with that nation. Right? There's another scripture I wanted to bring. There's one I wanted to bring, but you know what? I wouldn't think that. So yeah, again, you know, the devil, he on the move, right? He on the grind. You know, Jake like to talk about grind. Esau Edom, they're on the grind. You know, there's a lot of things coming out right now. That's still one of the things, the main things. Everything is something you should be focusing on. But there's a lot of information, a lot of news coming out, especially with Palantir and the kind of stuff they are doing, right? So with that, once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. We say, double on apostle, and let's agree with our teachers, our apostles in the truth, and we say salutation, so they are coming to the push with the truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season. We say, Shalom.